Howdy, how y'all doing? This is George, the Fearless Rambler, and I'm hoping you guys are having a wonderful day. Something's happened here at my cabin. Yeah, autumn has set in, and it's 40 degrees this morning. Pretty chilly. Now in my cabin, I have no heat, so I'm going to go ahead and put in a 20,000 BTU heater from Martin. And if you're interested in that, come join me. I have ordered a Martin Gravity Direct Vented Wall Furnace Series MD20 VP. The maximum input is 20,000 BTU hours. And in this video, I'm going to go ahead and install it per our local codes and the National Gas Code ANSI Z223.1 for propane insulation. I purchased my Martin for just under $1,000, but that was about a year ago. Today they're running about $1,200. Holy smoke, cost has gone up. Their advertisement says there's a built-in thermostat. That's true, but it's not direct temperature controlled. It does have a thermal output of 16,000 BTUs, and it also states that it's quick and easy to install. Well, that's not so true. You better be prepared to work for it, not an easy instruction manual to follow. Shipping box is off. And there we go. Okay, now I need to bring this out. Really nicely packaged. Put it on the back. It looks like we have all our goodies back here. Let's unwrap it and see if it's in good condition. Take out that manual and look at your parts list. Yeah, check everything to make sure everything's there before you start that installation. I got it out. It's sitting right here. We got it laid out on the wall, and I'll show you that in a second. But certainly, we need to sit there, install this wonderful heater, if it's even wonderful. We don't know yet. We read the owner's installation and safety operation manual and got the template out of the box, placed it on the wall where we're going to install the heater. Tell me, about right here, how does it look? I like it. And kind of install it in this location, and then we'll go ahead and have it vented outside. If you notice, not by any windows or anything, and it should keep this cabin nice and warm. So you can see here, I've taped it up where the studs are at. I came through and locate the studs. I had a little bit lucky here because on this side I have a double stud right here, so I have two studs right here. One of the problems we have here is that the holes on the template are not 16 inches between centers. So somehow we have to line it up. The one video that I did watch on this could only get one screw into a stud, the rest were just missing. I think I might be able to get two screws into studs. The other two are going to be way out here, and I'm going to miss it. The other important part is I need to put that big old circle, the cutout right here, and that's scary. I'm really scared about cutting a big hole through here and on the outside. We went ahead and took time to level out the template before we marked those hole locations. These hole locations are maybe the most important part of keeping it level. So yeah, take that time. The heating installation instructions does state use the template provided with the heater to mark wall mounted insulation and ventilation opening size, but it never says to take time to level it. Make sure it's level. This is a good starting point to verify that. As you're putting the template on and marking the holes that are indicated on that template, make sure you keep in consideration the clearances for combustible surfaces. From the rear, 1 3/16 inches. From either side, 6 inches. Above the unit, 24 inches. And from the floor, 7 inches. And that's the top of the tile, carpet, or etc. As you're marking those 5/16 mounting holes to the wall, don't forget to mark the ventilation tube hole and those mounting plate screws. You do that by cutting out the template, tracing it, saving that little circle to mark the outer wall later on. That's going to be done at about a 2 degrees slope downwards. I am cutting out my ventilation openings in the wall. I'm pre-drilling with a 1/2-inch drill so I can take my jigsaw and do quarter cuts. Cutting giant holes in the wall is quite scary, so I verified that there were no electrical lines in the way, and I turned off all my power, just in case. I don't want to get buzzed during this operation. Beauty!
So before this was even a wall, we got out the heater and we thought, well, let's see about where we want it. And we have some pencil marks on the back of the wall, just where we thought we wanted it. And now today, we came pretty close to where we originally thought we might want to put it. Just maybe a tidge lower, but we're good. That's where we wanted it.
This is where their instructions get very confusing. You need a 2-degree downward slope. I calculated for a 4.5 inch thick wall. That's about 5/32 of an inch. I round it to a quarter. Using a level and a little bit of an eyeball thing here, I dropped it down about 1/4 of an inch on the outside wall. Marked it with a nail.
Cutting out the drywall really didn't bother me because I can always fix drywall. Drilling through my siding, now that scares me. Let's see if I've done it right. I centered it up, put a mark here to make a pilot hole through, and we'll go on the back side and match up the template based off of that. There it is, and I got a hole through the wall, and I should be able to match up my template. Let's go do that.
I'm using a drill bit as a locator for the outside circle.
Just got to, oh wait a second, I got garbage in the back. I should check that first. Let's see all the garbage I got. No way! Get that out of the way. Terry, you move it, not me.
Can't move it.
Oh, okay, I'll move it. There it is. I need to cut a circle out from here. After moving all the construction crap, right here is where I put the drill bit through. We'll put the template on here, mark around it, and I'll jigsaw around that. Then we got 2 big holes. Again, this part scares me.
I take the pattern I cut from that template and center it up with the drill bit. Then I'll go ahead and trace around that pattern. This will be the location I will cut around with my jigsaw for the heater's air vent. Don't forget to adjust for that 2-degree downward slope. There it is. Then I'm going to prep this hole by drilling 4 locations, north, south, east, and west, so I can get my jigsaw in there to drill out this hole. Once I have those pilot holes done, it's time to get that jigsaw and a good sharp wood cutting blade.
Yay! We have a hole.
The minimum wall thickness for the vents is 4.5 inches. Let's see if we have that.
4.5 is the minimum, and we're just right there at 4.5. If not, we may have to make a box on the outside to bring it out further.
So this is the vent that goes out the wall. We've got 3 different tubes: inner tube, first tube, second tube. This second tube is taped together. We're gonna undo that and it's gonna come off. And so the actual venting is gonna be these 2 tubes right here. And this is gonna be the liner that goes through the wall first.
I did a quick check to see if I had enough material, laid out this sheet, and then marked it 4.5 inches. I used my jigsaw with a metal cutting blade to cut it straight. Because this material is trying to curl, I had to clamp it down on a cutting table, made a straight line, and followed through with that cut. Before I installed the thimble tube, or what I call the heat sleeve, I went ahead and put some fire block sealant in. I kind of used it as the caulking, just as a second barrier to the heat. I put the thimble tube in place. I then found a couple of sheet metal screws to assemble this heat tubing.
Okay.
Now I need to install the mounting plates, inside and out. They provide a panhead self-tapping screw set for metal and wood, but we were going into drywall, so I just changed them out to a good drywall screw. I located that mounting plate to the 4 holes that we had marked from the template. Of course, by using my great carpentry skills, I just screwed that right in.
Now I need to go out in the rain and put the back plate on. It needs to be at a 2-degree angle coming down. That's about a 1/4 inch difference between this hole and the hole on the outside. At least for a 4.5 inch wall thickness.
As you can notice, I used some deck screws to put this plate in because I was going into wood. And I went ahead and verified that I had that 2-degree drop.
So it's about a 1/4 inch lower than the other side, so it should be sloping downwards. A 1/4 inch will give me that 2 degrees I need to have. We're gonna have to cut this and cut this down to match the dimensions that are stated in that manual. So we have to decide how far we're gonna have it stuck out. I think it says 4 5/16. We need to go measure that. Then we're going to scribe a mark here, come out an inch, and I have to go look at the dimensions, I can't remember. 1 mile is an inch, there are ours is a little bit further than that, and then mark it, cut this out of one, then go ahead and mark this one and cut it out about 3/4 inch longer. So this is going to be fun? Not. So after you cut the size, you can just take this side and unscrew it off. Then put that on first before you put the vent on. And you'll find out it's a lot easier to line everything up.
So you're using the side that was not cut.
So with a little bit of mess, we got put in. Here on the outside, not too bad. I'll bring the gas in down here, bring it across and around, keep it away from the vent itself. And after that, we should have heat.
Here's a change we made. We first used that fire block sealant to caulk out on the outside of the vent. Oh, big mistake. The rain just washed it away. So we switched to a high temp resistant 100% RTV silicone. For the outside. Now, mistake number 2, I bought red and not black. And believe me, Terry reminded me about that. But that red, it does look pretty good. Anyway, who's going to see that back side of my cabin?
So afterthoughts on this nice cool day. We got it in. I need to go through now and get the gas put in there. That'll be another day. It looks pretty good. The instructions weren't very good. But we did finally get it in. It took about 3.5 to 4 hours to put it in. But we also were filming. Maybe it'd take a good 2.5 hours, 3 hours to put in. But yeah, I hope it keeps us warm. If it doesn't, well, there's a waste of $1,000. So thanks for joining in. I appreciate it.
As you can see, I have the gas lines in, and I went ahead and verified that this heater is working, but that's going to be the next video, how I set up and installed the propane system. It's a must watch. That was an exciting venture, putting in a Martin heater. It took about 3.5 hours to do, and getting that gas line in, that's another 2 hours. So a 5-hour job. Wow. Now that was fun to Terry, but not so fun to me. Now I really do appreciate each one of you for watching this video. And for those that have subscribed, thank you very much. And for those that haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit that notification bell, give me 2 thumbs up, because this is George the Fearless Rambler, not one who doing that job again, signing off.